Welcome back to FIFA 18. The journey so far.
Things are finally looking up for Alex.
For now.
Upon arriving to the USA, Alex couldn't believe his luck upon meeting Thierry Henry, a footballer beloved by all except the Irish.
Don't make me do stereotype jokes.
Despite not getting a goal in his debut for LA Galaxy, he played a major part in their victory.
Yeah, and people appreciated his effort.
Wow, he didn't even have
Maybe
to
the
score
sudden
to be
news of the high
appreciated.
life of Los Angeles will start to have a bad effect on his previous friendships.
Oh no!
Ah,
Nah, they wouldn't do that, would they?
Who are we up against next?
Well, I assume we're going to check our social media. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Mr. Alex Hunter, where are you? We miss you coming into the juice bar every week. Your whole city turned on me, so fuck you.
Oh no, Jimmy, no, it caps lock. Hi, Alexander. I got an intelligent phone so I can keep up with your progress over here. Love, Granddad X.
That's so nice to see a grandparent using social media.
It reminds me of how they translated.
Training first, so let's play Guess the Theme Song.
It reminds me of how they translated in localization in Akuri 2, how when Broadly, starts using Leafbook. Oh. Sounds Kirby-esque.
No, it's the Pokeathlon theme, the 8-bit version in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Oh.
It does sound very
nice.
Pokemon.
Yeah, basically, if you get all 16 gym badges in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you get this special feature that lets you turn most of the music into 8.
Yeah.
Nice.
You don't get to hear every single, tune in your normal run because some of the tracks are exclusive to before you get to get the
GB player.
Yeah.
Well, that went well.
So who are we up against?
We'll find out when the thing comes up. First, more social media.
Get off
Unless
of
it's
Twitter
also
and do
the
your job.
English players care to imagine. The heat, altitude, and travel distances can create culture shock. Can Mr. Alex Hunter adapt?
Here's hoping. Though you gotta admit, the weather is nicer there.
Depends on what part of the States you go to.
I thought you guys would say almost any place in the States is better weather than Europe.
Well, except Florida.
Well, aren't the states so big that they offer pretty much any kind of climate
New
that you
York
want?
City FC.
True that. Oh, New York
Also,
City.
we aren't as prone to natural disasters over here.
Specifically, the New York City FC ones, the ones that are owned by both the New York Yankees and Manchester City.
New look, play a match with a new hairstyle. Huh.
Interesting challenge. I guess it's one way to keep it fresh for the audience.
Hi everybody, welcome to today's game.
There's another New York City club called the New York Red Bull.
Center.
There's another New York club in the MLS called the New York Red Bull, such as nowadays there's a new LA club called just Los Angeles FC.
Huh. Nice.
This table shows good news for Galaxy. Although they have had some sticky times this season, they are in a playoff spot now and they're close to clinching it.
Yeah, we just gotta make sure we stay there.
So nice to hear such American-sounding commentators for our American-style game.
You still hung up on that, Jova?
I mean, it is pretty jarring.
Lives, you're being hung up.
And yeah, you're not exactly one to talk,
you're
Mr.
like
Gotta...
You should be commenting on that kind of thing.
Mr. We gotta say the European name of stuff.
No, there's the difference between pronunciation and voice.
Oh, really? Yeah. The voice actually matters more than the pronunciation.
On one hand, I can imagine Americans existing with a natural British accent.
It came off an opposition player.
So that works out well for us.
Hunter.
But Jova, you're from New York City.
Well, I'm talking story-wise.
Dwibs, you'll be surprised how many football fans here in my country, are supporting not teams that are native of their own city, their the birthplace where they live.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Basically,
Yeah.
it's like this. Normally, I'd be rooting for New York City, but story-wise, we're rooting for Alex Hunter. It's a shame he couldn't be with New York City, but alas, it's an EA universe, not the real universe, so I don't have to care
That's
too
the
much.
worst universe.
Exactly. My
It's not
condolences.
Steven's universe.
I can think of worse universes.
Oh yeah, have you seen that movie yet, Jiroy?
No, I will soon.
Oh,
And,
goody.
well, let's not spoil it for the audience.
Well,
Oh,
Yeah.
no,
Dwibs,
not
to
obviously
answer your
not gonna spoil.
question, I'm not entirely sure because you have to imagine applying the A mindset to this kind of universe. That would mean that stories constantly form but never manage to come to fruition until the very end because their native companies get cancelled before they could finish the story. So you can imagine all these stories that are left hanging.
And then there's the stories where your choices don't
Like-
matter.
Daily reminder that Dead Space, in its current state right now, is one of the most depressing endings in a work of fiction that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just because EA was very, very weird in treating visceral games.
So better or worse than how Mass Effect ended up eventually?
No, Mass Effect was conclusive, Jova. Technically speaking,
Andromeda.
That's well, Andromeda,
Yeah.
I suppose as well. But
Okay. To be fair, I wasn't talking about just the trilogy, though. It's weird. Some people are having a hard time placing where exactly Andromeda is. Like, if it's related to the trilogy, if it's years after the trilogy.
It is technically a sequel, but it has its own twist to it. Let's just say that events make sense of why it is set up in that galaxy instead of the Milky Way.
Now, if only we could have gotten a good story out of it.
That New York City keeper looked like he was crying.
Well, let's see. 4-0. You're giving him a good reason to cry.
Last minute score.
Although you know what they say, a soccer player
the
can't
very-
cry until the very end. Or is that a
That's a
lawyer?
Yeah, it's a lawyer.
Lawyer,
we're in-
soccer
we're in-
player, what's the
Hey,
difference?
we're in
I thought it was, I thought it was applied to the Marvel series.
and hey, we're in Los Angeles right now, so maybe Phoenix is somewhere in the crowd.
Yeah, okay, seriously. Give us a crossover between Ace
Yeah.
Attorney and FIFA.
Little surprising that it is as one-sided as this.
So let's see. And not to mention also Sonic Adventure 2 takes place in Los Angeles as well.
It's finished here.
And the game is over.
So,
5-0.
okay. So let's do a checklist. This takes place in Los Angeles. Sonic Adventure 2 takes place in Los Angeles for the starting portion. Ace Attorney takes place in Los Angeles. Yeah, we could still make a crossover out. Oh yeah,
Oh,
LA,
yeah.
well, LA Noir. So let's see. If we did a bit of time travel, we could have a 4-way crossover.
I don't think there's a specific MCU movie that takes place in Los Angeles,
Guys, Alex
doesn't
Hunter
it?
scored 2 goals.
That's because they normally take place in New York to you.
Well, they do.
Well, and Wakanda.
Depending on the setting, they could manage. Yeah, I don't talk about, for example, space-wise, but I mean, stuff that happens in America. They can manage to, make it so that I know that the New York meme is a thing, also for the MCU.
True.
It's also the reason why Steve Gerber managed to wanted Howard the Duck to operate instead in Cleveland, just so that he could have use a different city.
That
for
reminds me. Are they
New
finally
York.
going to do something with Howard the Duck in the MCU as opposed to just have him be there in the
Not
background?
yet. Hold on.
Fun fact, actually, he was in the background during that big fight during Endgame. You just have to look very closely.
Alright, let's see.
How do you feel?
I don't feel so good, Mr. T.O.
The defenders couldn't get near me. Goals flying in. Those guys are gonna be having nightmares about me for days.
Yo.
Alex Hunter, the scourge of the United States of America.
It's like one of those cheesy Chinese movies titles. The scream of Alex Hunter terrorizes even the USA.
They'll be having nightmares for days.
I'm not even kidding. One of Bruce Lee's films is kind of called like that, Joe. It's like a chance to scream, terrorize even the West.
I see Mr. Hunter's adapting quite well to the United States.
Who sent Mr. Alex Hunter was a flash in the pan? Who was it? I'll find him and give him a talk.
I'll punch you straight in the gabber.
You know, this may be the best thing that's happened to Alex Hunter's career, honestly.
First, a cutscene.
Knock, knock.
Open up the door, it's real.
So, Hunter, your time here, so far it's been impressive.
But...
I have to admit,
Yeah,
I had
but...
hopes. A young man like you, new country, big expectations.
yes...
Many more seasoned players.
How sad is it that nowadays we have to constantly be in fear that something bad is going to happen to his career?
But you're fired.
You are different.
That's fair, Alex. What's going on?
Given this club hope to reach the playoffs.
Wow, because the LA Galaxy has never had the hopes to get to the playoffs before. Not like they're one of the top soccer bouts in the country. Oh, wait.
Yeah, sometimes I'm boring when it comes to my choices.
I wish I had your attitude when I was a player.
Oh.
How do you mean? Did you play for Mexico at the World Cup?
Yes, when I was 34. My first major tournament. Did you know that? In my 20s, my teens, when I think of the choices that I made. In this game, young men of talent, they are given too much too soon.
Oh, they squander it all.
That's why they retire with nothing to show but regret.
They probably do.
I'm guessing it's better, social commentary about the state of FIFA than United Passions.
Oh.
Anything's a better social commentary than United Passions. I mean,
No,
United Passions couldn't even get defending FIFA right.
Let's think about it, Dwibs. United Passions showed that FIFA was incredibly scummy and trying to portray themselves as a good guy. You're telling me that wasn't good social commentary on the state of FIFA?
Joe recalls it wasn't. They couldn't even do it right.
Well, I know that's not what they intended.
Okay, this is definitely Pokemon, but I don't remember which one it is.
It's the Gen 5 rival battle theme.
Oh, I get it. It's funny because Gen 5 takes place in the Pokemon equivalent of America.
The
Specifically
one that
New
fits
York,
Bianca,
I think.
But not Sharon. Really, but still.
It's weird because I don't remember for Gen 4, but Gen 3 did add a different rival team whenever you were fighting Randall or May.
That was only the encounter theme.
Alright.
I think it was the remake of Gen 3 that gave them different battle themes.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, they're slightly different.
Well, Gen 7 had two completely different things.
Oh, well, yeah, two rivals.
One nice, one a dick. See, there you go, you got a compromise.
It looks like we're getting the same.
Is a rival.
It looks like we're getting the same thing in. Well, maybe not the same thing in Gen 8, but the one of your rivals dressed in purple definitely looks like he's going to be a dick.
Yeah, for context, audience, we're still recording this before Gen 8 gets released. So
yes, Gen 8, the one that takes place in Britain, complete with the English place, the Welsh place, the Scottish, and the Irish.
Scottish trainer. Anyway, now we're at home now to a Canadian
Toronto. Toronto. Technically Canadian.
The MLS is kind of like the English football league system in that a couple of its clubs are from a foreign country, technically speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Like how in England, there's a few Welsh teams in the English leagues. In the MLS, we've got a couple of Canadian teams.
Hey.
Oront FC. Sorry, the logo got kind of cropped out there.
And then it turned out that the match could not be held because the Toronto guys have covered the entirety of the field with maple syrup.
Yeah, we've played for worse.
Okay, no. Let me try a different stereotype joke. The match couldn't be held because the opposing team thought they were actually going to play hockey.
No, I got it. I got one.
It's funny, Tio, because Normal the North
Toronto,
too made a similar joke.
Damn it.
Toronto were disqualified because their team smoked a drug that was legal in Canada but isn't in
Ooh.
the US.
Dwibs, you just destroyed that poor guy's face.
Did the referee blow the whistle?
Now he's gonna go on to be a supervillain and curse your name.
Well, the referee didn't blow the whistle, so fucking for all we know, he could have been diving and fainted.
What's
I mean,
that?
look, he got right back up straight away.
Okay, I'm genuinely confused by some of these victory poses, to be honest. I mean, being creative with them is fine, it's just, you know, makes us understand what you're doing.
Well, when you're celebrating, the last thing you're thinking of is, how can I make my celebration logical?
Well, Dwibs, I can understand what a middle finger means, if that's what, you know.
Also, damn, their keeper is incredibly amateur.
Yeah, this, for example, is very understandable.
Praise
Body
me?
language is complicated, Dwibs.
As Ursula would tell
Yeah,
you.
even the commentator will say that the referees are the stupid.
Well,
See-
no, it's all about the keeper.
Margin here to 2-0.
Whoa, you weren't about to launch yourself onto him.
And here they are
What's
on
up,
the
buzzing?
attack.
Hmm?
Ah, you see, I can do tricks.
It's so hard to counter Martin, that 1-2 touch stuff. The understanding between this team, well, the opposition couldn't get near.
I bet they'll wish they were staying at home right about now.
That does extend their margin now at an important time.
There's a huge golfing
Yeah.
gap out there.
Yeah.
Wonderful
Trick,
assist and goal.
Let's see the replay now.
Mr. I lost the yards orders.
Target, and they're away with the ball.
Second half.
Out wide to
Alright.
where Alex Hunter
Wow, he's just taking that ball for a walk.
pick out someone in the centre. The ball's loose.
Ooh.
Goalkeeper made the save, but he couldn't hold it.
No chance.
Headed puck. And now the shot.
Oh!
Off the post and in.
Post. Talk about precision.
Who's this one?
He'll get.
That was perhaps the place where
What
it was
I'll
impossible
get?
to save
I'll
it.
get a goal.
Dwibs, like we established, but this is the EA universe, not the Ace Attorney one.
The goalie off guard as much as anything.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, that would be more appropriate for Race to 36, considering like 95% of the new characters in that game had a funny name.
Oh, you're being changed?
One team really
No,
on
no,
their
no. The
game
manager
today.
sometimes calls me over
Other
to
very
talk,
on colour.
hence giving the
To
game
the-
an
to
excuse
the-
to show
to
off
the
the
coach.
objectives list.
Yeah, okay.
Defender on his toes.
Also, it's funny, but
Oh,
now remember,
Crap! What do I do?
Uh-oh.
Fuck!
Basically-
Cover!
It's a quick
No! No! Oh!
hit it hard.
basically, Dwibs, in the
Bear
rival
in mind, he's a
schools-
United States international.
Hunter and shoots.
Oh,
And
there
there
you
you
go.
That's what he
Ba-
gets.
Basically, Dwibs, in the rival schools, a series of fighting games made by Capcom, they have different type of schools that especially different thing. Like there's the American school, for example. One of them is the sport school, and there is a fighter that uses football as his fighting style. It's actually very interesting, and in that one is actually the Italian character Roberto.
Yeah, he's been a danger from the start. His work rate.
Although he's not the face of the school. Usually, the different schools, rival schools, have like the character that represents them, like Batsu for his own one. The one for the sports school is the baseball player. Forgot what he's called.
And Alex Hunter gets the match ball thanks to a well done hat trick.
Oh, cool, the match ball. That's a thing we do in the US.
We do that in the UK too. I think it's a footballing wide
I don't remember if they do it here.
I scored a hat trick and I still get a thumbs down.
Aldwives, nothing is exempt of flaws. Come on.
You like bloody people. You like those people that You like those people that critique, that even do like a scathing critique even after England won a football match.
Nobody's perfect, Dwibs. Again, they're just giving you a proper review.
Constructive criticism.
The bloody spoil sports. That's
Oh,
what they
come on, Dwibs. How do you expect to get better without criticism?
See, this criticism was actually okay from what I heard of it.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, guys? Criticism's the bane of society now, so fuck it. Anyway, that was the end of FIFA The Journey 18 Part 7. The way I say that is like the
See you for the next part where Alex continues the slaughtering of the other teams in the USA.
Proving once and for all that one English guy can make almost every team in the MLS embarrassments of themselves.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.